Okay. This is a family tree that we developed up here at C.W. Post College. I found it very interesting. We got a chance to go back and see some census data from 1920 and other material that was found. I hope you find it interesting also. Material I received from my cousin Frank as a basis for developing this family tree. He had sent it to me, and we used this in our research. We found it very, very useful. This is a draft Army registration form that my father used in 1917 when he went into the Army for World War I. Once again, I found this very interesting. I'd never seen it before, and I'm sharing it with you. This is a 1920 census that shows my mother's family. My mother, her sister, and her two brothers, plus her parents. They lived in Brooklyn, Sheepshead Bay section of Brooklyn. It's interesting in this census, I found out my grandfather on my mother's side was in his own business. He seemed to own a garage, and also one of my aunts that I always called Aunt Bella. I thought her name was Elizabeth, only to find out her name was Isabella. This is a family tree with my father's side, Mark Vita coming from Italy and marrying an Irish girl, Margaret Callahan. Unfortunately, they died at an early age in the early 30s. On my mother's side, the John Connell married Nell Duna, and they had 4 children, my mother being the middle one. Karen's family, Edward Mead, he came from Glens Falls, New York, and Sarah Kehoe. They lived in Seacliff all their life. They died in the middle 1950s. A book that we discovered and researched that shows my grandfather Mark on my father's side, but it's interesting because it identifies his occupation, being a cutter. He was a stone cutter up in Haverstraw, New York, and eventually down in New York City. He cut names and things like that, and tombstones.